Hey guys, it's week 5 and we're getting ready to get our big brother on.
That's right, everybody. Time for some more drama. And this week, look what we got back. We got our guest star, Ashley. How you doing, Ashley?
I'm doing much better. Thank you. Thanks for having me back.
Yeah. You feeling much better?
A lot better.
Yeah, all right, good.
Yeah, I'm glad you guys didn't evict me.
Getting close. Josh is like, Josh is like, you know what?
I bet he was.
Yeah.
I bet he was.
But, all right, well, let's get into it.
Well, a big week in Big Brother. It picked up where it left off last week with the HOH challenge where they're on the side of the ship, an endurance challenge. And as we suspected, Big D, first one out.
Oh, yeah, dude dropped like it was crazy, man. Just, yeah, like big whale just flopping down.
Gravity is working against him.
He was a free willy, man, just jumping off that ship onto the end of the water, man.
I'm a very strong guy, and I'm ready to win this comp. I know this comp is for me.
Yeah, Big D.
I'm sorry, Big D, but you have been eliminated.
Some competitions are made for some people, and that one's just not
Big
made
D
for
just,
him.
yeah. Well, evidently no competitions made Big D. He hadn't won anything. So.
That's true.
Yeah, he's just been kind of coasting.
He just skating through life, man. Yeah, just staying under the radar, being everybody's friend.
Pretty good winning personality, though.
Yeah, that's what he's got going for him.
Except for, some clashes, which we'll get into a little bit later, I guess.
I thought this one was kind of cool because I really liked the throw-up aspect where, like, the little green
the green slime.
Yeah. That was like the old Nickelodeon TV show. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see their goggles filling up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, some people took their goggles off. That might be the way to go.
I think it was Alyssa's I saw.
She
They
just
were
took them
bad,
off.
man. Yeah, her, she had, like, couldn't see.
Yeah, it didn't even look like they were helping, really. It was just, like, retaining that water, so. Yeah. What else do you guys think about this competition?
Well, I thought it was interesting. Like, Xavier said that he wanted to stay on he wanted to throw it. But he's like, he wanted to make sure it didn't look like he threw it, but he waited until, like, he was the second to last person to come off.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I mean, I guess the opportune time came to throw it because he could make that deal before he got off the wall. Because it was like, I think when he said it in the diary room, it's almost like, okay, well, I want to throw this. And you thought he was going to be one of the next ones to go.
Yeah, and the last 3 on the wall were Derek, Alyssa, and Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
And they all start making deals, as what usually happens in this scenario.
So then they made it, Derek made the deal with Alyssa, so Alyssa dropped, so then it was just Derek and Xavier.
And she was trying hard to convince him to drop.
Yeah, at first she was. Yeah, well, then she even said in the diary room after, she's like, yeah, I made a deal for myself. Maybe I could have made a deal for Christian too, but I didn't. I just saved myself.
Which brings me to the point of Xavier, who just made the deal for himself.
Don't put me up. I'm not putting you up, bro. I promise.
And then everything plays out, and then Derek wins the HOH. And then as they're all hugging, he gets the key on, they're hugging and everything. He's like, yeah, and my team too.
Yeah, he's like, and the king. And the queen.
Like, yeah, I don't want to see any kings up on the block here this week.
It's like,
and Derek Gate's like, yeah,
okay. And then, like, I guess when they talk about it later, it shows Xavier in the diary room. He's like, I don't know why he's questioning me on this. We talked about it. And
right.
No, you just kind of whispered it in his ear there.
Right, like after you made the deal with him, it's like, oh yeah, you can't go up and add terms to the deal after it's done.
Yeah, that was kind of strange, but I'm glad to see Derek won that because I think it's a great opportunity to shake up the house. What did you think about Derek winning?
Yeah, no, it was good. I was hoping he was going to win it, and it was definitely a good opportunity to shake up the house. I think, and it definitely did shake up the house. Right, and a lot of stuff plays out this week that a lot of alliances got shaken up for sure this week. So that was good the way. He did that.
I thought Derek played it very well up until one point, which I guess we'll get to that after we talk about the veto. But he made a huge mistake at one point. But he was kind of going back and forth on what he got the HOH, and in the diary room he told his plan was going after Christian. Period. The end. Like, there was no doubt about it. Then he's got his little girlfriend in his ear, like, yeah, Christian. But what about Sarah Beth?
Well, what's funny is about that is Tiffany comes in, all 3 of them are talking, and Tiffany mentions the royal flush.
I forgot about that.
Hannah was not aware of the royal flush at that time.
What's the royal flush?
I want a backdoor in.
Or we can ride the royal flush.
What's the royal flush?
And that, had they kind of discussed that, they could have played it off a little bit.
I'm kind of surprised
but
Derek
didn't.
kept that from her.
Yeah,
as
so
close
was I.
as they are.
Yeah.
But now Derek did explain it away pretty well, and then luckily for him, Tiffany kind of explained it away the exact same way.
Right.
So it kind of worked out for him at the end there because they were both just downplayed it like, yeah, it's really nothing. It's like a week-long thing here. And
Well, it kind of is
out of
nothing, maybe.
Yeah, right now it
It's
is.
definitely
Yeah.
nothing now, but it was what carried them through, and that's what ended up with her on the block. That's the reason she ended up on the block the week before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's funny because
So-
Derek's like interviewing everyone. He's like, "Are you willing to be a pawn? Are you willing to be a pawn?"
Right, of course, everybody's like, hell no, I don't want to be a pawn.
Would you be willing to go up as a pawn this week?
No.
Okay. Would you be willing to go up as a pawn this week?
Oh God.
Would you be willing to go up as a pawn this week?
I mean, I would be upset. I'll be completely honest. If I went up as a pawn, I would be pretty upset.
Okay.
No one's
who wants to
answering
be a
that
pawn?
question. The only people
Right.
that answer the question of, yeah, I'm okay to be a pawn are the people who go. Like,
Right.
I mean,
Now-
or just naive to anything that happens
Okay,
in the game.
now speaking of which, so being this is the first time I ever watched Big Brother, you guys watch it all the time. Is there ever anybody that says, yeah,
Yes.
sure, I'll be a pawn?
Yes.
Really?
Arrogant people who
Well, you
think
know,
they're not going
Brittany
to
and
go
stuff said
anywhere.
I prefer not to, and I think Sarah Beth kind of said that to like some
Sarah
people
Beth
will
said
say
no.
I'm
Sarah
not.
Beth's
She
like,
said
no.
she would
Some
be
people are
upset.
saying I'm not happy. Yeah, but she's like not absolutely not. They're like
Right.
kind of like I'll go with your thing just in case. You know, I have no choice. But yeah. I mean, obviously,
Some
no
people
one
volunteer
wants
for
to be
it.
the pawn.
Right.
Like,
Normally,
which is
it's like
stupid.
someone bailing someone else out or something like that, like as we saw with Aja.
Yeah.
Right.
Right, yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah, so he ends up picking Sarah Beth and Brittany.
yeah,
right?
and Hannah like obviously has that grudge against Sarah Beth, so she's kind of whispering like,
is
"It's
weird.
Even
gotta
though
be
Sarah Beth thought
Right.
she buried that hatchet, but I was like, I watched that conversation. I,
I think
was
that
like,
was
yeah,
kind
you
of a
didn't bury
Hail Mary.
anything.
That was like a Hail Mary
Right.
attempt.
I was like, in
Right,
case
yeah.
you get HOH. Like,
Right. Like,
I mean, it was
can
kind
be
of smart of her to
friend.
try that at least. I think.
right.
Yeah.
If this backdoor plan to get Christian out the house doesn't work and SB ends up going home instead, that would actually be more beneficial to my personal gain.
No, I definitely was smart.
And I was rooting for Sarah Beth, and you know what?
I was
when
too.
Sarah Beth got nominated, people start coming out of the woodwork. Like, for one, Christian's like, "This is bull crap. I will fight for you," and then Alyssa's like, "Yeah, I'm going to take you off," and then
Yep.
Kylan, same deal. So like, all these people were like, "I'll get
I got
you
Sarah
off."
Beth.
Yeah, well,
back.
especially Kylan's. Kylan's got a 2-person deal with Sarah Beth, right?
Right.
Like, they're super buddy, and they're got that little we're going all the way together deal. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that was interesting. And of course, like, okay, got Sarah Beth. Who's going to be my other person on the block?
And the
And then the
perpetual
go-to,
pawn
the
is-
go-to,
Right, the go-to pawn, yeah.
default person, Brittany.
right, well, and the reason being, right, because he knows that Brittany is not part of the royal flush, and he knows that Brittany's kind of been the go-to pawn to begin with all the time. So he talks, and he knows that I think he's kind of got an idea that people wouldn't have been more attuned to him putting up one of the other 2 jokers at the time. So of course Brittany's
Yeah,
the
and I
go-to,
think-
right? So
People think like Brittany probably has a low chance of winning something where she would be vindictive and come
Right.
after someone,
Right.
especially at this point.
Which, how upset she gets when she gets put up there as the pawn.
Every
I
week
get
it's
it.
the
She's crying.
same
I
song
get
and
it.
dance.
Oh, yeah.
It's
More
uncomfortable. You
tears.
don't want to be
Right,
the
right.
pawn. You don't want to be on there. But like at this point in time, like she should have some kind of comfort level because clearly
Yeah.
they're using her to make sure the other
Other people
person
get out.
goes. So
Exactly.
it's like, okay, as long as
yeah, and then so they're both upset, and then of course and then of course Derek X shares with Sarah Beth what he's doing. They
Yeah, I didn't think that was too smart.
No, it wasn't very smart.
well,
but
he got lucky with Sarah Beth that she kept it to
to
herself.
herself, right?
Yeah.
Because I
She
thought
could've
as soon as
blew
I
the
saw
game
that,
up.
I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, she's gonna go to them because
Now being on
they
the
came
block,
to
she had to
them.
be careful about it.
And that's exactly it, right? So,
But the rest of the kings came to him and said, explain this. Like, what are you doing, and why did you do this? And his explanation, which I can't think of right now, didn't quite make sense. But they bought it.
yeah, they did.
Yeah,
I thought it
and-
made semi-sense, but like, why would he not discuss that with them prior?
right.
And-
So they bought it. So they're still thinking, okay, the plans to get out Brittany at this point in time. That's the part that doesn't make sense to me. I think that's what it was.
They wanted
okay,
to,
the
I
plan
think,
is to get
nominate
out
2
Brittany.
jokers, I think.
Yeah,
Right.
but the plan is to get out Brittany, and it's like, really? That's your big master plan? You think Derek
Yeah.
is master plans to get out Brittany? So I'm like,
Right, but they all bought it.
they all bought
They
it.
all
So
bought
they're
it.
like,
Well,
hey, we
they're
got
running
Sarah.
out of people. That's the
Right,
thing.
because Royal
Yeah.
Flush is 8 people, so they're running out of people to choose from, right?
Yeah, so-
and had he chose Derek F or Aja, that of course Cookout would be like, no, we can't. Let's not choose him. So, and I think Derek's smart enough to understand that certain people would probably said no to Aja or Derek F, and that's why he went with Brittany. So
But that's the other kind of weird thing is that in that conversation is you got to remember, like, these other people in the house don't know about the cookout.
Oh,
so it's
dude.
like, these people are off the table, but they don't really know they're off the table. And of course, they're not off the table to Derek.
I'll tell you, cookout has
But-
been phenomenal at keeping that crap hidden. Like I can't
That's
believe
about
that
to
nobody's
blow up,
found out
though.
yet.
We'll get to that. That is about to blow up.
All right, so they're getting ready to have the veto competition. They're drawing names, and then Kylan gets
Kylan
nominated.
gets picked.
Yeah.
Claire and Alyssa. So you got two people kind of competing to take Sarah Beth off.
Right, exactly.
Right. And they've all said, we're going to take you off. Like,
Yeah, and they felt motivated. They weren't like blowing smoke up.
No,
her butt.
no,
They're
no,
like,
no.
yeah,
They
we
were
got
going to
you.
use the
Yeah,
veto.
they're
They were
totally
going
gonna
to
get
take her off. But this was one of those vetoes where it's like, okay, the first person out gets to go pick a prize.
Yeah, this is a cool thing.
Yeah,
right?
so they do this every year too. So they pick a prize, and the first prize is always the golden power of veto. But you're the first one eliminated, so you now have 5 people behind you to come pick the prize. They can either pick the prize they get from their own locker or choose to trade it for the veto and give you that prize. Well, obviously, the prize values keep going down. Some of them are rewards, some of them are punishment. So
Now I think
first
Claire
person never gets to keep the
Claire's
veto.
the first one out, and she was also out early on that head of household, and she feels pretty comfortable because she's got that power that keeps her safe until jury. But she
Which is
could
this
really
week.
shake things up if she start winning and then didn't have any repercussions when she's vulnerable that week. But she's just kind of like, I'm good. I don't need to even really be playing this.
Yeah, and her head's in the clouds. Like she thinks she's golden, and you're right, man. She's stupid for thinking that way. She'd still be trying to win these events. So
Yeah,
she
she
can
was
still control
aggressive
stuff
last
that's
week.
going
She
on.
could have eliminated someone, and
Yeah.
then she couldn't compete, and then she could have had safety, and then been back again.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Because because if she takes head of household, that's keeping because she's already not going to be kicked out anyway, right? So she takes head of household.
That ended this week because next week is jury.
Right, but if she'd have taken head of household, that still would have kept anybody else from having that power, right? So, I mean, she would have basically kept that out of anybody else's hands, and she'd be the only person having that power as head of household and having one because she won the competition, right?
She's not an aggressive player though,
No,
so she's more of a passive player.
And I was rooting for Sarah Beth, and then I think Sarah Beth may be the next one to go. She has the option of choosing between $5,000 or the power of veto. She chooses the money.
Yeah, which pissed everybody off.
Which
you got two
on
people
some
fighting
level,
for you to take you off, and you don't even take yourself off, allegedly.
See, and that's the thing is, on some level, I understand it because she knows by taking that veto, Brittany's behind her. Brittany's going to take the veto from her at some point in time. So someone else is going to get that veto. So she's like, okay, well, I could get the $5,000.
Now, you don't take the money and allow someone else to do it.
Because now you've got everybody else on your team working for you that is not going to get $5,000.
Right, exactly.
And then on top of that, half of these things are punishments.
Yeah.
Right. And they could choose to take that $5,000. And that's the thing is like, so if your teammate wins the veto, is the final person to win the thing and they can trade to get the veto, they're like, well, you didn't care. You cared more about the $5,000 than anything. So, you know what? I want the $5,000.
I wouldn't have gone for the veto either. I'd been like, give me the money.
In all honesty, that would have actually, now that I
absolutely.
think about it, that would have been a great plan. She could have argued that was for the person to win. Because if they're the ones that could trade...
She wanted that money because someone else got eliminated, and she's like, "Please don't take the money, please."
Yeah, Derek,
and I'm like,
that was
give me that money.
And I cannot believe that Derek did not.
Dude, he should have
take
snatched
that
that
money.
He took a punish. He knew he was going to get punished, so he took the veto because he knew that wasn't going to last because Brittany was still in the game. She'd be stupid not to go for the veto at that point. So, I mean, he totally just pissed away $5,000 for a punishment, and one of the worst punishments out of the ones in the competition.
Well, actually, I thought it was the easiest punishment because it was only a one-day punishment, whereas the other ones were all week long.
Well, the sandwich one might have been worse because it was a week, but he had to wake up in the middle of the night and everything else.
Well, the 52-card pickup one was a week long too, right?
Yeah, that one's probably the best.
So each punishment. Well, Derek's punishment wasn't based on the king; it was based on whoever. Anytime anybody needed to go to the bathroom. Derek was
He's got the key to the bathroom.
He had the key to the bathroom for one day, so they had to ask Derek to use the bathroom. Then he had to go blow his horn and announce, so and so's using the potty. But he only had to do it for a day. Granted, he had to get a middle night one time to let Tiffany in there. But then after that day's over, he's done. Now Kylan, he got the crap into the stick because he got the sandwich one, right? The Duca sandwich or whatever it was called.
And my boy don't look like he knows how to make sandwich because he didn't know what a club sandwich was.
Yeah, he said,
who doesn't know what a club is?
He said it took him like an hour and a half.
It looks pretty good though. I think he's learning. I think he's doing well.
Yeah, because he said it took like an hour and a half to make that first set of
sandwich. I
sandwich.
wonder if they gave him like strict instructions, like this is how you make a
probably
club
so.
sandwich.
There was probably like instructions.
Or someone's like, bro, it's like bacon, lettuce, tomato.
So he got by far the worst because I mean, at least once a day he's gonna be making everybody sandwiches, right?
I didn't even know what a club sandwich was until I became the jackass of clubs.
God, I'm so excited.
Is this for the King of England? Who is this?
You've been served.
Thank you.
Right? And what would be real crazy if the king at like 2 o'clock in the morning was like, make everybody a sandwich.
And at first he had to make sandwiches for everyone. And then I think it was just who requested it after that, I think, though.
No. The rule is anytime the king says it, every day.
Everyone.
Anytime the king says it, he's going to make sandwiches for everybody.
What if someone doesn't want it?
He's still got to make it.
Well, and then, of course, Claire got the, I don't even know what the thing was called, but she's got to play 52-card pickup anytime the king says so. So, she has to throw the 52 cards in the air and then pick them all back up, which that's not
And they
horrible,
didn't show a whole lot of that, so
it didn't that's kind of a stupid one.
Yeah, it was dumb.
But, and that was a week long as well. But and they've got to wear those outfits for the whole week too, right?
Right,
so
they have the crazy outfits. So the winners came out to be Brittany, who got the power of veto.
Well, Kylan was like a force to be reckoned with on this. But like they switched it up, and then the person who was good on the previous one did not transfer over to the next one.
And then on the last one where Brittany won, man, she looked like she was going crazy. It's like they had to turn their head back and forth and like.
Oh, dude! Well, then
I thought she was gonna just like steam was coming out of her.
Well, then you had Derek F looking at Kylan and talking about him like he was a sandwich.
The first one they sat on 2 chairs or whatever. They kept rotating between sitting on 2 chairs.
So then the other winner, I guess, of this competition would be Sarah Beth, who came out with $5,000. So you had your 2 nominees come out with something, but the $5,000, her taking that $5,000 was, and then counting on other people to get her that was
not
just
exactly because she's still on the block and could go home at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
Right, because she was counting on those other people and they didn't come through. Brittany got it, and they didn't seem too disappointed with that. By the way,
well, not after what she did.
Right, exactly.
Why would you?
Yeah,
exactly. So it'd be interesting to see when those conversations take place about that. But Brittany wins.
Yeah. Congratulations, Brittany! You have won the golden power of veto.
Come on, man! Guess who's the first female in the house to win a golden power of veto? Yep. She takes herself off.
And now all the craziness starts.
And then Derek has a bright idea. Like, look, these people are going to be pissed because his whole plan was to backdoor Christian the entire time. So, and he knows that's coming.
Not piss anybody off.
Yeah, he knows that's coming. He's like, these guys aren't going to be happy when I do this. So
let me tell
I'm going to talk to them beforehand. Especially Alyssa. I'm going to break it down to her what my plan is, so she won't be too mad when she finds out.
Right. Yeah, so, like what the hell was he thinking, man? That was just the stupidest thing you could have done. Like, hey, I'm going to get your boyfriend out of here, but you and I are so cool, right?
So that was the part where I was like, okay, hold on. Like, she immediately runs to Christian, tells Christian, and he's like, are you kidding me? Like, he's upset. And then this is all before they're about to go into the veto meeting.
Goes in there.
Yeah, and then they're all like, and then he's sitting there like, okay, all right, maybe we should get rid of Sarah Beth. And like, he's really contemplating. And I'm thinking at this point, I'm like, dude, this ship has sailed.
He was really indecisive the whole time about this.
And my thought was, I understand that you got to take the backdoor shot at Christian. He's a beast at the competitions. That's the only way you're going to get him out if you don't give him the opportunity to fight for himself, which is exactly what he just did.
Right,
he gave him the conversation
Christian,
to fight
I don't think
for
was
himself.
gunning for him. So.
Well, he wasn't, but then later on when Christian's like, you know what, I thought about taking Derek X out last week and I should have taken my opportunity, but I didn't.
He did say that, but he never showed that was it. Jesus, red alert.
Red alert.
Holy cow.
So that's the point, though. At this point in time, you have now let everybody know that Christian was your target. Even if they talk you out of it and you're like, okay, I understand.
The damage is done.
The damage is done. Even if they say, look, we're not coming after you. You have already said you're willing to betray them. The damage is done. You got to follow through.
Yeah, if he didn't follow through
and
that,
right before nomination,
I was so worried he wasn't going to follow
through. Right before nomination, he takes Derek into the pantry and has a last
ditch effort.
Yeah, last ditch effort to talk to him. And
we need to go after each other eventually, not now.
Just think about it.
Well, he had Xavier with him.
A lot of good
he had
stuff.
Xavier with him too, right? So he ganged up on Derek with Xavier, like, hey man, you know,
you're my shield. Like, why would I get rid of you? You're my
that shield. Thing. He said that to multiple people.
I'm your shield. You're my shield. Like, we need to keep each other in.
There's
a time we'll come after each other, but it's not now.
Now the other interesting
it'll
thing
be next week when I come after you.
Is Christian is campaigning against Sarah Beth, and Sarah Beth is kind of like playing it pretty low key, but Christian's he's trying pretty hard.
They mentioned that because I think Tiffany mentions that in some kind of conversation. This is after the veto though, because she's way too comfortable. Like,
well, Christian comes to Tiffany practically on his knees and be like,
"You gotta help me! You gotta help me."
Okay, so the veto is used and he follows through. So he follows through and he puts Christian on the block, which is, I'm like, okay, that was a good move. Mm-hmm. But now comes the next, battle, which
iteration of people fighting.
Yeah, all right. So now it's Christian against Sarah Beth.
Now I think the better move would have been to put up Xavier.
I think so too.
He's just as good as Christian.
Yep.
You gotta you gotta look at the room, like what's going on here, big picture. Like, I know they don't know about the cookout, but come on. You got to see who's getting eliminated, and everyone likes Xavier. He's good with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
His social game is really good.
Yeah, exactly.
You probably should put him up.
No, you totally should have put him up.
So, especially after, okay, that would have been a great blindside, too. It's like, okay, you convinced me not to put you up. Now you're going up.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and he just made that deal.
Yeah.
And I think Derek always was planning to be honorable to that deal. So, and I don't think he questioned that really at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
well, it's just smart again on Xavier, right? Like, I'm going to throw it, but if I can make it to the end and make a deal, that's better.
So be it, exactly.
Right,
yeah.
right.
That way, it's like I don't win, so mission accomplished, and plus I feel safe.
Right, exactly.
So what's funny is before you've got Sarah Beth on the block with Brittany, and then it's Xavier, Christian, and Alyssa. We will fight for you to the end, Sarah Beth. Then all of a sudden, Christian's on the block next to Sarah Beth, and it's like, Sarah Beth who? Yeah, we're saving Christian. Like, Sarah Beth, you can go.
Just those two, though.
Alyssa, on their team.
Right,
it's like, well, now you know who has more value in that team.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely Christian.
I thought it was
they were totally fine to see,
and
especially after she took the $5,000.
I thought it was kind of interesting that Tiffany was really trying hard for Christian.
She really wanted to keep Christian, and Christian
she was
came
crying.
To her.
They hugged it out. And
so Christian came to her and said, "You're the swing vote," and she's like, "No, I'm not, boo."
She's like, "I'm voting with the house, and you don't have it yet."
And then she started throwing her cookout, freaking people under the bus. Like, you don't have Aja's vote, you don't have Derek F. So
she tried to not say that first.
She came to him first.
She gave him she tried. Because she was trying to be honest with Christian. She's like, I'm going to vote with the house, and he's like, I've got the house, and she's like, No, you don't. And he's like, No, I got the votes, and she's like, No, you don't. And then she just kind of let it go. So then she went to Aja and Derek and said, Hey.
But she threw them under the bus, right?
Yeah, she's like, I need you to tell him that. Be honest with him, because he thinks I'm the swing vote and I'm not, and that he's getting put on me and I'm not, and he's like, I'm not. Derek, you ain't gonna tell me what to do.
What's the thing too? It's like, why do I need to go tell Christian I'm not gonna vote for him? If you're telling Christian you're not the swing vote, then fine, leave it at that. You're not the swing vote. Christian doesn't need to know who the other people are, So
it's funny because Tiffany and Claire are talking, and then she tells Christian to go get Brittany so we can talk, and then Derek.
That's because she had just taught Claire into switching, right? She had just convinced Claire to switch.
Said, all right, I'm on board.
And then, Christian goes, hey, Brittany, Tiffany wants to talk to you. And then Derek's like, who?
Tiffany? Oh, we'll all go. Right. Christian's like, she just wants to talk to Brittany. They go as like
an entourage.
Yeah, so
and he's like, anything
Derek,
she says to her, she can say to us. And then, as soon as they walk in the room, Tiffany's like, no, I just need Brittany. And, anything you can say. Okay, well, we'll just talk later then. That's fine. She's like, no, we're not talking. This conversation's not happening. Awkward. It's very awkward. And then you've got the diary room. It's like there's clearly a beef between Derek and Tiffany.
My mindset right now is I think I'm going to go to each person and tell them I don't want to be a part of this alliance anymore.
Don't say that. Please don't say that. Please don't say that.
I don't want to work with this bitch anymore.
Please don't say that.
I don't.
Please, please, I'm begging you, please.
Right. Well, then Tiffany, and now Tiffany's mad at Ozza too because she was backing up Derek in this.
Yeah.
So now you got this big, between 3 people in this 6-person cookout. You got this.
Well, in
beef
all
going
fairness,
on, so.
the Jokers, the fact that Derek and Aja the Jokers have been on the outs of this house the whole time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? They went after Frenchie at the beginning. Brittany's the reusable pawn every week.
Right.
Like these other 2 are kind of meaningless. If they weren't in the cookout, like they would bring nothing to the table.
Right.
So.
Well, their votes count, so that's true.
Right,
that's the good
that's
thing
what they
about
bring
them,
to the table, right? Exactly.
Yeah, but there's just so that connection with the cookout is there's a rift there.
You
sure.
think there's a rift there, but
Oh,
I
I'm
don't know
pretty
if there
sure
really
there's a
is
rift
because when it came time to voting, they were pretty tight. Tiffany changed her vote and she voted against Christian. So that tells me there's a conversation that happened that we weren't privy to as the audience.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, Tiffany fought so hard to save Christian, and then last minute, or, all of a sudden it's like, okay, whatever, sorry, Christian, yep, I'll vote,
So clearly there was a conversation.
So Christian got evicted.
And Xavier voted, for him.
See, that's the thing is, Xavier didn't stick with the cookout. He voted for Christian still.
Yeah, but he probably knew what was going on, and I'm guessing it was let me throw a vote his way. Just to
right, and of course, I'm sure after that came out that it was 7-2, there was no doubt in anybody's mind who the 2 were. I'm sure everybody knew exactly who those 2 people were who voted for Sarah Beth and not Christian.
Right.
So, Xavier pretty much just put his card out there that, I voted for Sarah Beth, so the rest of the cookout at least knows that he went against what they voted for.
So I will say this is probably the biggest move of the season.
Oh, big time, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's at least interesting and good. It'd be nice if some of these people on the outside of the cookout realize what's going on and they could counter that, but right now, they're just like sheep. They have no idea.
Well, and the fact that there is a little bit of a rift between members of the cookout kind of throws
What's going to be
off
interesting is Kylan has the final 2 with Sarah Beth. So at some point, he's going to probably put pressure on choose the cookout or Sarah Beth.
Exactly. Yep.
So that could
no difference like Hannah and freaking Derek X too, right? But Hannah's already said that she's got no problem sticking with the cookout. To the cookout, she said that anyway.
I think she could turn too.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
If it was advantageous to her, I bet she would probably turn.
Yeah, possibly.
But right now, there's not a window for her to really do anything.
Well, no, and Hannah's not. She's another one of those people who really didn't bring too much to the table aside from a vote, right? So
yeah, what's kind of interesting? Like Tiffany and Xavier, no one's ever talking about those guys.
Right.
No, except for Derek now talking about Tiffany.
Mm-hmm.
But Derek can't win anything, so he's got no power in that.
So he's going to be in real trouble this week, probably.
Asha doesn't seem to do much but comfort Brittany when.
Well, that last competition she was in,
that was horrible.
She better hope it's like a question and answer type of competition or something.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm not really sure what Aja brings to the cookout as far as
another vote.
Yeah,
and sometimes that's all you need.
As long as they stay true to that, yeah.
Exactly. And that's the thing, as long as they stay true to it.
But when you're not bringing anything other than the vote, when it comes down to just the cookout, guess who's going to go first?
Yep, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Well, you're not going to win HOH.
Let's play that out. Let's pretend the cookout makes it all the way, and it's just the cookout left. Who's the first one to go? Who's at the top and who's at the bottom of the cookout?
Well, I think Tiffany and Xavier are kind of running the show.
The top. Yeah. And then you got Derek F and Aja who are at the bottom, for sure.
Yeah.
And then probably, third from the bottom would be Hannah, and then Kylan. Yeah.
I think Hannah's probably at the very bottom if they had to push come to shove.
I think I'm gonna be Derek.
Tiffany would probably try and convince someone, but
yeah,
maybe.
Well, Asha's going to have Derek F's back at least.
Derek is the only one.
Have Hannah's back.
Derek, and I think he is convincing Aja that they're the only ones that pointing out the mothering and masterminding that Tiffany is doing.
Well, Xavier's got Hannah's back. Remember Xavier last
he would have done that, I think, for anybody.
Well, no, Xavier flat out said, Hannah's my little sister, and there was that thing where they're calling each other big bro and little sis and all that stuff. He's like, she's my little sister. He's like, I'm going to do whatever I can to protect her.
Xavier are pretty tight, too.
Yeah.
She practically confessed her love.
Right.
I have a crush on you.
Which is smart for her to do, right? So
yeah. And he's like, really? Come on.
So now what do you foresee happening going forward?
Yeah, so now Christian's gone, so you got, there's only really two comp beasts in this freaking show so far, and one of them's gone now, right? So now Derek X is the only one that's left. So which, even though he's
puts a big target on him.
Oh, a huge target on him, right? Exactly. But
I hope Brittany wins because that would be interesting. And who she would put up, I don't know.
Right.
Probably not Derek or Aja, but everyone else could probably be.
Yeah, because so we did not see the head of household this week, the head of household competition. So we don't know who the head of household is going to be yet for this week now, right?
Yeah.
So they didn't show it to us like they had been in the past. So we got to wait till...
Yeah, they did the episodes this week all kind of weird because they did the veto, but then they did the veto competition. Normally you see the veto competition and then the veto ceremony in the same episode, and they split that into episodes. I don't know why they did it all weird. It was very irritating.
Right, exactly.
I need to know, like, what is Derek going to do?
Well, I guess there's probably a double eviction coming up pretty soon.
Probably so.
Be, yeah.
Well, and what I do, so I mean, what I would like to see next is I would like to see a member of the cookout. I would like to see more strife amongst the cookout and see that thing just fall apart and see a member of the cookout go home in this next episode. That's what I would like to see.
I'd like to see at least one nominated to see how that,
there you go.
how that ripples out through.
There's,
if Tiffany's plan works
on
out
the bottom of
with
the cookout probably has to start thinking, because like if I'm 6 of 6, okay, I gotta like change that somehow, and I gotta look for an opportunity to do that.
And that's always a problem when you make these big alliances. When you have 6, 7, 8 member alliances, you say we're going to stick together till we get to 6, 7, or 8, or however many it is. But then whoever starts to feel like they're in the bottom of that group starts to want to make plays before they get to that 8, because they know if they don't, they're at the bottom of the 8. So it's like,
well, here's the
they
thing with
never
the cookout,
last
though,
quite as long as they're supposed to.
There's no individual that probably feels like they're left out, because like Derek has Aja, Tiffany, and Xavier are tight. So that's contributing probably to the problem there as well.
Yeah, that's true. Well, the thing is too now though, right? I mean, when the cookout got together, what were they saying? They said, hey, one of us, we're going to have a black person win this year, period. Right? So now all of them are going to be on the jury. So they're going to have the numbers on the jury to make sure a black person wins.
That's
true.
So
at least they were able to at least accomplish that of their goals, right? So they, so they can pretty much say, okay, well, at least we accomplished that portion of our goal. A black person's going to win the show as long as we all sit together.
I hope that doesn't happen. I hope they vote for whoever's best and competed and outplayed other people instead of just going by the race.
Maybe it'll be a black person.
Maybe.
Yeah. Right now they've been playing. They've been playing a great game right now.
Xavier's been probably playing one of the best games out of anybody right now. So yeah.
I mean, Tiffany. I'm still a fan of Tiffany and on Team Tiffany.
No,
but Derek, she's not handling the riff with Derek very well. She's
Well,
she's playing the game very well.
Derek's right. She's trying to be too bossy. She's trying to force people to do stuff that that they're not wanting to do, and she's getting irritated when people aren't listening to her. So,
but also, what is he doing? What is he doing?
He's just being Derek, man. He's just being laid back Derek.
He snores and he sleeps anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
fact.
He can sleep anywhere.
He's almost sleeping with the sunglasses on.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Maybe he sleeps with his eyes open. He's trying to hide it.
Maybe. All right. Well, you guys got anything else you want to add here?
I want to see something exciting happen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a pretty uneventful season. Like
this week was pretty eventful. I thought.
Yeah, this is the most exciting at all. I mean, besides maybe like Frenchie doing his shit.
Right.
This was a good week, and as far as the season goes, in all, I am very surprised at how well the cookout up until this point has been
hanging on. Yeah,
has been hanging on. There's not been like a backstab, even though there's the rift between Tiffany and Derek. They're not talking about backstabbing each other or getting rid of each other. So that's always a talk in those big alliances. It's like, they're saying this about me? Oh, well, they're no longer a part of this alliance. You know what I mean?
Well, remember Derek threatened to leave. He was like, F that B, I'm out. I'm
going
to tell everybody I'm out. I'm
calm
done.
Down.
Yeah, and I was like,
he can be talked into it one way or the other. You know what I mean?
So.
But he's lucky he probably has Asha calm down.
Right, yeah,
Don't blow things up.
He was done. He's like, I'm done. He's like, man.
He could probably say the wrong thing at any minute.
Yeah, and we haven't had any crazy emotional outbursts.
Not really.
No attacks, none of that.
Yeah, even Christian, he leaves with dignity.
No, he did. Yeah, Christian looked great.
Yeah.
And I don't think that helps, though. If people know you're gonna leave on a good note like that, they don't have to feel too bad about getting rid of you.
Right.
Well, maybe that makes.
But if it's like, I don't know what this dude is, I'm worried what he's going to be doing.
Right,
let's vote somebody else.
Well, people do start to hesitate as using Brittany as the pawn because she cries so much.
Right, they're getting tired of seeing her cry.
I'm getting tired of watching it.
Right.
She's but every diary room after she gets nominated, I'm gonna win the veto and I'm gonna do it. And she never does, but she did this week.
Right,
she finally did.
She finally won herself an event and one that really counted. So
I was rooting for Brent Whitney, who is everyone I root for gets kicked out. But who are you guys rooting for at this point?
Yeah, I don't even know, man.
Interesting.
All right, well, I'm rooting for Xavier because I think he's played the best game, and he seems like a good guy, and he seems really smart how he's going about it. So at this point, I guess I'm rooting for Xavier.
I would say Tiffany or
Still,
Xavier.
huh?
Yeah, I'm still. I like the game she's playing. She's got to be a
She
little
plays
careful.
pretty aggressive. I like.
She's got to be a little careful. She's got to
Playing a little
sense
too
the
aggressive.
rift that's coming.
Right, exactly.
But see, she's
And
not
she needs
as
to, she
relaxed
needs to be able
as
to
Xavier.
handle that. But she doesn't blow up at it. She just needs to like handle that a little bit better, knowing that he feels handled. So handle it without handling him.
I mean, Xavier even has
So-
these women kind of throwing themselves at him, and he's still
Yeah.
like focused on the game.
Yeah.
So he's very focused.
I think Derek X is gonna go any day now. Like he got rid of his shield. He's gone.
Billy, who are you rooting for?
I think I'm rooting for Derek X just because of that, right? That dude's gonna have a huge target on his back right now. I'm kind of curious to see if but the thing is, he's a comp beast. So every time he gets put on that block, he's gonna be able to take part in the veto competition to get himself off. So I'm kind of rooting for him right now.
You gotta
just
be
see
more
how long-
confident in your picks. You
just
can't
see how
be
long he can stick
waffling
around,
the
man.
entire
If you're
time.
the comp beast that's constantly being put on the block because you're a comp beast and constantly winning competitions, that gets you to like spot 2 or 3. It doesn't get you to win.
I really don't want to see someone like Derek or Aja win, who's just been coasting though.
Yeah, no, they've contributed.
They better
enough.
do something if they're going to win this thing.
Yeah. All right.
All right, everybody. Well, hey, Ashley, thank you for being back now. It's
Thanks
great
for
to have
having
you
me
here,
back.
of course.
Glad to
Everybody,
be
hey,
back.
we hope you guys liked our show. If you did, press like and subscribe, and we'll check you in the next review, or the next discussion, I should say.
See you guys.
All right.
All right.
So
What's the pose?
All right,
Exa-
switching at the end there. Yeah.
he's like, oh yeah, my team too.
Oh, well, then you
Well, then I ain't gonna hear a stupid thing.
We got this one going soon.
That's right.
Yeah, my mic's on.
Duh.
And then Derek, like, no, you
Cook
can
out.
talk to all of us at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing.
What's that?
I'm a woman. What?
Oh.
What? Oh. Oh, is my necklace straight? Do I look beautiful?
No, it's not straight, actually.
I am what I am.
You wearing a collared shirt today for this man? All right.
Can't look at the camera.